Hi everyone, it's Jack from Jack's English. Do you have good English knowledge but it falls apart in conversation? Or you go to say something but you can't find the right vocabulary? Today's lesson is just for you. For those who don't know, I used to be a golf teacher. It's true. When I lived in England about 10 or 11 years ago, I was a golf teacher and I was training to become a professional golfer. Well, I learnt a lot of lessons during that time, and a lot of lessons particularly coaching golf and coaching sport. And some of those things I've taken to my English teaching. Today's study concept is from my golfing days, and this is analysis versus performance study. I think a great way to manage your study is to divide it into two parts, analysis and performance. So what are these two parts? The analysis phase of study or practice is where you focus on particular skills, you analyze them, and then you try to improve them. This phase of study or practice is not like the real thing. You're not experiencing the same feelings or the same situations that you would do in real life. Now, the performance side of study is where you try to emulate real life as closely as possible. So this is where you practice performance, real performance. And this can really help you with your English. In this class, we'll look at both of these types of performance, but we will focus on the speaking side of study only. You can apply this to all of your study, but I think it's particularly effective in your speaking. So let's start with analysis. So as I said, analysis is nothing like performance. This is where you're working on your key skills, analyzing them, and improving them. So what does this mean? This is the kind of study where you're looking at books. You're going through these grammar books like Cambridge Grammar in Use, or you're taking lessons like my lessons on YouTube. Then you're reading or watching, re-watching, writing down on a piece of paper, writing down the kinds of language you like. On top of this, you're listening to your own performance and critiquing. This is very important as well because you need to know how you sound and then decide what you want to improve. So today I'm going to give you three very effective types of analysis study. Number one, script analysis. Go on the computer, download a script from your favorite show, something that's kind of conversational, something like Modern Family or Friends. Download a script, print it, and then begin analyzing the script. What I mean by this is, you read the script, highlight the language that you like, different patterns, vocabulary, grammar that you recognize, and then study it, practice it, use it, write down your examples. This is a great way to start building your inventory of language you can use in your speaking. The next type of analysis study is simply studying a textbook. As I mentioned before, a good textbook is the Cambridge Grammar in Use. I also really like English for Everyone. I think that's by Dorling Kindersley, so you can check that out as well. So this is simply going through your textbooks, learning things. Again, building that ability, building your knowledge of the language. This is a really important part of learning and shouldn't be skipped. Finally, recording assessment. Now you can call this whatever you want. It's critiquing your own recording, analyzing your own recording. So this is where you take a recording, whatever it is, maybe you recorded your conversation, your verbal diary, we'll talk about that soon, or a presentation you did, and analyzing it. Put it on your computer. Write down, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What do I need to work on? This is another valuable part of study. It's a huge part of golf, practicing golf, where you watch your swing, but in this case we can absolutely apply it to English learning. So those are three great ways to do analysis study. Now let's move on to my favorite part, performance study. This is the area of study where students really don't practice enough. And this is one of the reasons why you freeze in conversation, you don't know what to say, you can't access what you've learned already. So this is what I really want you to look at and think, do I do this? Is this something I can add to my study routine? I have a feeling it will be. So what is this type of study? Performance is where you make your study or practice as close to the real thing as possible. So this is where you are trying to put yourself in a situation that's like a real English conversation, a real pressure situation that you can experience in English. Whereas the last section was more input based, this section is more output based. You are practicing production of language from your brain, not from a script, not from anything written in front of you. You're producing purely from memory. So here are 3 ways that you can do performance study. Firstly, pattern practice. Now, probably in the analysis phase, you learn some new patterns from scripts or textbooks. Now you have to practice them aloud in the performance stage, but you're not allowed to read, you're not allowed to use notes. While you're doing something else, perhaps you're washing the dishes or you're taking a shower, I want you to see how many of these patterns you can remember from memory and produce example sentences. This is easier said than done, so try to remember what you studied in the analysis phase and use them. The second type of performance study is verbal diaries. This is something I've mentioned many times. You know, you've heard it so many times from me, but this is a great way to produce language. Now, I'm going to suggest 2 ways of doing this. Firstly, you can do a more relaxed, casual way and have shower conversations or shower verbal diaries. You just stand in the shower, you take your shower and you talk about your day. If you want to take it up a notch, then in your room or wherever you study, record your verbal diary, keep it for tomorrow or keep it for later when you do some analysis practice. Then later you can critique that recording. Finally, phone or online conversations. Nowadays we live in a world where technology is all around us and there's no excuse to get yourself a study partner, or a study buddy as you may hear. Of course, you could do phone English. I know there are lots of phone English options out there nowadays and it is fairly cheap. Or you can get, as I said, a study partner, study buddy, or a language exchange. There are plenty of websites out there nowadays where you can find an exchange partner. So you will learn their language, they will learn your language. The key thing is, you've got to be using your English, finding ways to use your English. I know it's easier said than done, but there are ways nowadays, especially with Skype and Zoom. So performance is a really key area of study, and you've got to be honest with yourself. Am I really doing performance study? If not, try one of these 3 methods. Okay, that's everything I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that and perhaps you learned something new about me, that I used to play golf. I used to play golf a lot actually. I think there are lots of practice drills that are used in sport that we can use when we're learning language, and this is one of my favorites. So give it a go, let me know how it went in the comments below and I'll reply to you as soon as I can. As always, please leave me a like, I really appreciate it. It helps me to share the video with more and more students like yourself. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell and join me for future lessons. I hope you have a wonderful week this week and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.